how does 3D work? And in this case, how did you do it?
Well, in this case, it's different than our normal animated movie that's completely virtual. In a virtual film, it's very simple to add a second virtual camera and render the other eye. In the case of G-Force, it's a hybrid, meaning that it has live action and animation together. So the hard part is how do you shoot the live action in 3D, particularly when your actor is only 9 inches tall and the camera you're intending to use is 4 times the size of your actor. It doesn't lend itself well for the action kind of things that we were doing. So the decision up front was to actually do it in post. This is very unique and hasn't really been done to date for a feature film. The advantages of that is that it allows us to sculpt the 3D as we would any other part of the post-production, meaning like you don't edit in the camera today, you don't change the color in the camera, you know, so why would you make all these stereo decisions in the field when you're shooting? So what we have is what we call a depth session, much like we'd have a color session or an editing session, and we can sculpt the 3D. Our movie has about 2,000 cuts. It's an 85-minute film, as opposed to, say, a Pixar-like movie might have 1,100 or 1,200. It's Jerry Bruckheimer action film, right? So you need to be able to make it first a pleasurable experience, and secondly, you need to be able to push the technology when necessary. We also did some things that were not done before. The film is a widescreen release, but we're actually projecting the top and bottom mask, its actual pixel area. So creatively, I can have the characters break that mask, or the elements like explosions, which psychologically helps induce the concept that the characters are literally coming into the theater, which is the quest of what we're trying to do to make a punchy 3D movie.
Can you tell us the genesis of this project?
Yes, the genesis of that project actually came from my 5-year-old son at the time. He's now 11. But in preschool, he was able to bring home the class guinea pig, and around the kitchen table, he told my wife and I this story about how this little cute guinea pig would wear an army helmet and backpack and go out to save the world, you know. And I thought, that's a clever little idea, you know. And as I looked at this little cute guy, you know, and I realized, boy, if he had the right technology, he'd be really cool. So I thought, boy, cool and cute, great combination, and there became the idea for the G-Force characters.
Now, secret agents have the coolest gadgets.
Yes.
What do these guys have?
Well, you know, I never saw the G-Force as genetically altered in a way that they can jump tall buildings, right? So they're just normal guinea pigs. So if you say in the script that they have to, for instance, get on top of Saber's desk and download his computer, you'd say, well, how in the heck would a guinea pig do that? So what equipment would he need? What kind of special training would he need? And then we would go back and look at what exists today. If you were an agent or you were a special ops character, and so we would modify the technology of today and make it fit so a guinea pig would work. As an example, when they're underwater, they have a XO-24 diving military mask. But we've had to modify it so that they can see out the side, because guinea pigs' eyes are actually toward the side of their heads as opposed to the front. So that was probably one of the more interesting things and fun part, was coming up with crazy gadgets that they could use.
This is your first time directing.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like?
It's an amazing process. It's the most difficult thing you can imagine to do. It was a 2-year project, you know, for me. It's very rewarding at the end of the day. You hold a lot of responsibility, you know, and it's fantastic working with a collection of creative people that came to the party. And that's one thing that Jerry Bruckheimer does, is he produces a tremendous team, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. So it was fantastic. It really was.
Could you discuss some of your casting choices?
Okay, yeah, in terms of the voice artists, again, this is what Jerry excels at, is getting the cast. We have Nicolas Cage playing Speckles, Tracy Morgan playing Blaster, you know, who's kind of the adrenaline junkie. We have Sam Rockwell, who is the voice of Darwin. Penelope Cruz, who is the beautiful Penelope Cruz playing a guinea pig. And I should say one little thing here. It actually happened when I showed Penelope Cruz her character before she started to do this, and she kind of, her eyes went wide, you know, because basically a guinea pig isn't the sexiest looking thing in the world, you know. So for us, from an animation standpoint, that was a real challenge. We had to come up with a way to make a guinea pig look sexy, you know. So how do you do that? Well, it's how she holds herself, it's how she walks, you know. And at the end of the day, Penelope really liked it. She's a real trooper.